Hello heroes, and welcome back to the Dirge. This is the second installment of a minimum of 25 game series that I'm going to be posting on YouTube. That is the first 25 games I've played so far this season. The reason I'm posting these is to improve my own gameplay. I am not a master or grandmaster, as a disclaimer. I mentioned that in the last video, but just in case you're picking up here with us and haven't seen my first video or haven't seen the series from the start, if you're looking for master or grandmaster play, you're looking in the wrong place. If you're looking to learn, this is a good place to do so, because that's exactly what I'm going to do. And in this game in particular, I'm going to show you is my second placement game of the season, and I know I make a lot of mistakes. I'm an assassin main, but in the draft it was decided between 4 out of our 5 teammates that I was going to pick Blaze as an offlaner, and the draft didn't work out exactly the way 4 of us had planned, and I guess I'll just let you guys see from there. This is a hopeful story that has a sad middle but a happy ending, and I hope you stick around long enough to watch the entire video and see for yourself exactly what I mean from that. For all these videos, I'm going to focus mostly on my perspective, because that is obviously the perspective I'm looking to improve on. I try to keep the videos short, so I'll fast forward through a lot of the boring stuff. Long story short, in draft, we decided a roundabout composition for our team. Guy decided to pick Abathur last pick, and the team was really giving him a hard time in the draft. So I tried to tell him at the start of the game, you know, keep it positive, give the Abathur a chance. I'm sure, you know, trying to keep their hopes up, because the last thing I want to do is go into a game with a team that immediately thinks that we don't stand a chance of winning because of one person's draft choice, before at least giving them a chance to show their worth. So I'm trying to look at this initial engagement, just throwing out, trying to get a little bit of safe damage done on the enemy team. Got a stun there, hoping for some follow-up, trying to save our Muradin from death there, because I saw that he was getting a little overextended. I couldn't get either. I didn't get any follow-up to get a kill on them, and our Muradin ended up dying anyway. Now I got a little follow-up there from the Crummy. We ended up taking down Jimmy Rayner, and at this point I feel satisfied with the initial engagement. Don't want to give the enemy team too much of an advantage. Don't want to stick around too long, noticing that Yrel is bottom lane, so I end up heading top lane to try to clear some of these up here. I did ping Yrel in the bottom lane to try to get somebody to go down there and counter her, to not let her push bottom lane by herself and us not have a counter, but as you see, nobody really responds. Now when I'm playing as Blaze, my main focus isn't necessarily to win the lane, but it's to not lose the lane. Now that their Rainer came up here to counter me, I'm not looking to do too much structural damage to him. I just want to make sure I don't miss any minions. I'll let him do a little bit of damage to me if he needs to. All I'm going to do is stand in my fire and get my health back in between waves. I just focus the minions and try not to let myself stay out of position for too long. So you see I retreat back behind our wall. I ended up using the fountain, and whichever one of my teammates was pinging repeatedly in the bottom lane for Yrel, I try to let them know, hey, somebody has to come top lane for me to rotate to be able to off lane against Yrel. Regen a little bit of my health. Their Cassie ends up taking a negative exchange in that on that minion wave push right there. Once again, I'm still just playing it safe, waiting for the objective to come up. Here I go. I get a little bit more self-sustain before going down and engaging in the objective. You know, I'm going in knowing it's going to be 4-on-5, because Abathur, of course, isn't going to contribute as much in the team fight, especially early game, as an actual hero would. And looking at the stats at this point, I see that he's not contributing experience the way he would either, so we're going in at an experience disadvantage as well. I don't want to give him the free kill here, so I'm trying to just play safe. I back up, wait until I get a couple heals from Ariana. I know I tapped too late when I was in the top lane, so I don't have the fountain available to me now. I try to charge it now to save our Muradin. Bad choice. We end up losing Muradin anyway. I do end up escaping by the skin of my teeth, getting a couple clutch heals from Anna. And I'm not looking to go in and hard engage. I know they're probably going to end up taking this objective at this point because it's now 3 on 5 instead of just a 4 on 5. So I do end up backing out a little bit. Muradin comes back in. Fast forward through this. Just trying to deal as much damage to them as I can safely without putting myself at risk. My other teammates don't take the same approach though. And I try to hard engage there, knowing that it was 99% get any sort of contestation, hopefully just get a lucky kill. Maybe Chromie would just bomb somebody and, you know, make it a little more of an even fight. I end up paying for it with a death. So going into first objective, at this point I noticed that our Abathur isn't playing Abathur the way he's supposed to. Me solo laning, I'm already contributing more experience to our team than he is, and that's, to me, that's the main thing that Abathur should bring to a composition, is to try to give that slow creeping experience lead and siege pressure on the enemy team. But he's not body soaking properly, and our Muradin mentions that it's not a good composition. I don't think it was necessarily the comp, and as I point out later in the game, it was more of a matter of not playing Abathur correctly to offer as much as he can to the team. So I'm just chasing down the Triglove, trying to take it down, still pushing on this first objective here.
Test completed. Now we'll make adjustments.
Dealing safe damage from a distance as much as I can without getting hard engaged and putting myself in a risky position to get myself killed. Enemy team rotates, my team rotates, and I notice we're still at a level disadvantage, so I stick to solo laning top, trying to make up some of that experience lost there. Being that I don't want them to go in at level 10 on the next objective, and us not at least be close to level 10 going into that objective. Now at this point I'm debating on whether I should go try to take our camp. I'm not sure why I didn't exactly right there, but I think it has something to do with seeing their camp approaching us and wanting to clear their camp before I go ahead and get ours. Unfortunately, as you can see on the minimap, I'm not aware of their Urel creeping up here to take our camp in the meantime while I'm distracted clearing the one that's already pushing against the Johanna on their team. So by the time I clear this, and then decide to go down and clear our camp, their Urel already has it, and now I'm forced to clear that camp or let it just continue to do more siege damage on our structures.
Hero slain.
Now they have their ults, and it's level 9 for us. My team is pinging down, so I do come down here to clear this minion wave. Probably a bad call on my judgment right there, especially knowing that the objective's coming up. But now we go headlong into the objective. We'll see how this plays out.
Terminal activated. Take control. Hero slain.
So now we're 8 minutes into this game, 2 objectives, and our Muradin's also already died 6 times with 0 kills and only 10,000 hero damage, 10,000 siege. He's taking a lot of damage, but he's also dying a lot. There's one thing I try to focus on is to make sure I don't offer even more of an advantage to the enemy team by dying. I know it seems like it's common sense, but I see it happen so often in these silver and bronze games where people just feed and feed and feed, and then they do exactly what this guy's doing and trying to blame the comp or trying to blame somebody else on the team. I know the Abathur's not contributing the way that they should, but you're not really helping when you're charging in like that and dying 6 times either. It's about looking introspectively and seeing what you can offer to your team instead of looking and blaming the team and using that as an excuse for your poor play.
Hero slain. Hero slain. Hero slain.
So as you see, I typed to my team that I have no mana. I know if I stay in there long enough, as soon as they come back to counter push, I'm going to end up dying anyway because I don't have enough mana to contribute to a team fight. It just so happens that I don't make it back to the objective before they do. And by the time I get there, I end up having to scramble to try to save our Ana. And our Muradin, who once again dives in headlong. Our Ana ends up escaping more to her own credit than anything else. Maybe because Muradin offered himself as a distraction and easy kills was she able to get away. She ends up dying anyway a little bit later. And then Chromie. But altogether, being that we're playing with what we have, it wasn't a winning engagement, but at least it was over quickly. Here we go, bad choices in tune selection again. And now we're starting to get to the point of the game. It's 11 minutes in. Team is getting madder and madder that we're not able to, win any of these engagements outright, that we lost both. And I mentioned to him, hey, it's not even the comp, but the Abathur doesn't know what he's doing. He hasn't moved, he isn't body soaking. And at this point, 2 of our players are contributing more experience than the Abathur is. So, and if there's any way to describe myself and my personal approach to dealing with, I'll just be outright and blunt and say it, noobs, is I'm the realest you'll ever see. I know there is a right and wrong way to playing certain heroes, and I'm a realist. R-E-A-L-I-S-T. When it comes to, you're not going to pick an Abathur and contribute as much to a team fight as an actual assassin would. Same can be said for a Blaze. I'm not going to contribute as much as an assassin would. And I guess this is what I get for putting too much stock in the bottom 2 picks and hoping that they're going to fill the roles that the team needs when it gets to bottom pick instead of just picking what they want to. I'm hoping to instigate some sort of response out of him. When I say things like he's not playing in the way he should be played, I expect him to be like, what do you mean? What can I improve upon? It's exactly what I do. It's exactly why I'm making these videos. And you'll even notice I comment in here a little bit that I love how he has nothing to say. Now the happy ending is going to come up soon because the game is about to end. and you'll get to see the happy ending for yourself.
Hero slain. Access terminal online.
They decided instead of pushing to end right there, they're going to go down and get one more objective. Can't see them on my map, but I know that's what they're doing. Once again, Muradin, now at 9 deaths, 15 minutes into the game, decides to put himself at risk down here with Chromie. They could at any moment just pop out of nowhere and gank him, but at least he does wait for me to get down there before he engages. Ana, at this point, I think he's just given up.
Hero slain.
We're still at least making an attempt and giving it the good old college try. Chromie uses her bye-bye to get out of there, and Muradin and myself end up being sacrifices to the bronze gods.
Slain. Hero slain. Red team score
So they
is
end up getting the objective, chasing us back into our core. And as you can see from the amount of time left in the video, this is where they will get their winning push.
Hero slain.
As you can see, guys, I don't take friendly to trolls. I don't appreciate people coming into ranked who don't know their heroes. If you don't know your hero, stay in quick match. Go to unranked. If you want a one trick,
Hero slain.
go to quick match. Go to unranked. Don't come in and ruin the experience of people trying to enjoy Hero League. It's what's made it. It's what I blame for giving me such a hard time climbing my way out of bronze. I hope somebody else can point me in the right direction and tell me that I'm wrong. Tell me what I'm doing wrong and how I can influence wins more. But if you continue to watch this series,
Blue team.
I think my point will become evident. Finally, he manages to say something, and this is the happy ending here. This is the happy ending at the end of the game, finally, at the MVP screen. Wait for it. There it is. I said, you're playing him wrong. It's not a bad choice, but you played him wrong. He says, how do I play him then? I said, there's no time here, but message me if you want specifics. And funny enough, it's rare that you run into somebody who doesn't immediately get defensive. When you talk to them, especially the way that I was talking to him, I was getting a little condescending, a lot condescending with him, especially after there was no response to the first couple comments made about the Abathur choice. There was no commentary offered in draft. He just immediately picked Abathur. Screw the rest of us. I'm going to pick what I want. But the happy ending is he did message me after this game, and he was on my friends list. We had a good conversation about the ins and the outs of playing an Abathur, and he even admitted now he felt like he had contributed to our loss in that game because he wasn't playing Abathur correctly. So that's the happy ending to even a losing game, is getting to get a little bit of education on somebody. Not that I know everything, but I know how to spot mistakes. I take pride in trying to learn, more so than other people. I subscribe to a lot of people on YouTube, and I try to do the best I can in learning the different heroes' ins and outs, so I know how to counter them, so I know how to use them effectively. I make my hero choices very specifically, but I do have to have a broad understanding of all the heroes, so that way when I come across them on the enemy team, I know what to expect from them. Happy ending, like I said, is that there is people out there who are willing to learn. If I was talked to that condescending, I don't know if I would have reacted the same way. So I give a lot of credit to that guy now for embracing the criticism and being willing to put in at least the time to hear somebody else out and help his own gameplay improve. It's exactly what I'm doing here. I'm putting in my own time to go ahead, record these videos, separate them, organize them, put some commentary on them, put them together, and upload them onto a YouTube page for all of you guys to come here and add your commentary and hopefully help me improve my gameplay. So I hope you enjoyed watching this game. I hope you enjoyed my commentary. I hope you continue watching the series. I hope this brings the attention of Masters and Grandmasters who can come here and help me figure out what I can do to contribute more to wins to my team. Thanks again for watching, guys. If you liked the video, you know the deal. Like, subscribe, comment, and I hope to see you in the next one.